Okay, so hello everyone. So this is our presentations about the threats of human security on human trafficking in Thailand fishing industry by Group 5. Next slide. So this is our group members. Next slide. Okay, so this is our table of content. The first one is introduction, analysis, international relations theory, level of analysis, and the last one is our conclusion. So in our introduction, human trafficking is a serious human rights violation. Each year, thousands of men, women, and children fall prey to traffickers in their countries of origin and abroad. Nearly every country in the world is affected by traffickers, whether it serves the country of origin, transit, or destination of the victims. And human trafficking is defined in Article 3 of the Protocol to prevent, suppress, and punish trafficking in persons, or we call Palermo Protocol, which supplements the United Nations Convention Against Transnational Organized Crime, which was signed in 2000 and entered into force in 2003. According to the protocol, human trafficking is defined as the recruitment, transportation, harboring, or receipt of persons through the threat or use of force, coercion, abduction, fraud, deception, abuse of power, or vulnerability, or giving payments or benefits to a person in control of the victim for the purpose of various types of exploitation. The main purposes for which humans are trafficked and exploited are sex trafficking and forced labor. Other purposes include begging, forced marriage, fraud, pornography, and organ removal. So the trafficking in human beings is increasingly due to the greatest gain of their perpetrators. Human trafficking is a global humanitarian problem with the involvement of many countries, both as a country of origin, destination, and transit country, making this problem more complex. The complexity of the problems is increasing as the neighbors and organized transnational crime networks are organized. Thailand is one of the transit countries, sources, and destination for international human trafficking. These conditions led to the government of Thailand beginning to realize the urgency of the dangers of human trafficking. This problem is increasingly complex because human trafficking is related to the child and female prostitution. Next slide.
So that the next about the root of the problem. So one of the biggest problems facing human security in the world is human trafficking. So the underlying cause of human trafficking in the Thailand are complex and multifaceted. Wealth and development gap. Gaps in wealth and economic development between developed and developing country and countries lacking socio-economic system, closet economic instability and conflict that lead to the need for low skill and low paid migrant labor, unequal employment opportunity, lack of fast, simple and reasonably priced service. So, and among them, the ability to manage migration, politics, uncertainty, natural disaster, poverty, and unemployment, corruption, and inadequate policies all contribute to the worsening of human trafficking. So that uh, human trafficking is increasing every year. For example, in Thailand, because Thailand is very strategic transit are for human trafficking transaction. For example, in the fishing industry, the industry is used for the distribution of human trafficking. The fishing industry in Southeast Asia, in Thailand, is plagued by slave labor, with many workers forced to work on fishing vessel for a long period of time in the conditions. So that many workers are lured into slavery with promise of a better life, only to be sold out to sea and forced to work in isolation. Next slide, please.
Okay, for the next one is impact of the problem. So human trafficking in Thailand fishing industry has become a serious problem, which is still haunted by practice such as human slavery, exploitation, and operations. The many impact of the human trafficking include the first one is human right violation, in which violation of human right include the use of the forced labor, illegal detention, and physical or sexual violations against humans. Second one is victim of trafficking, who experience psychological trauma as a result of poor working condition, exploitations, and inhuman treatment can have serious emotional and mental impact on victims. Third, security between nations. Human trafficking that occur in Thailand can trigger instability and conflict between countries because human trafficking activities in the fishing industry often occur around national waters or across national borders. This could worsen diplomatic relations between the country involved. And the last one is Thailand is one of the largest export of seafood products. In its case, human trafficking can damage the reputation of Thailand fishing industry in the global market and can harm the country economy due to potential international sanctions such as boycott of product from the Thailand. Okay, next slide, please.
Okay, the next about challenge in the government policy. So the challenge that can be faced on overcoming human trafficking in Thailand, the first is economy. So the problem of economic factor where the uneven economy in Thailand makes many people in Thailand deceived by traffickers by giving hope to them that by following them they will get a better life. The next is the problem of corruption. So the Thailand government still lacks the willingness of the real action to overcome human trafficking as well as corruption among law enforcement and government agency in Thailand as emperor efforts to overcome human trafficking. The next is the dependence of the fishing industry. In Thailand, the fishing industry contributes greatly, thus making the industry they take illegal labor and thus making many people in Thailand affected by human trafficking. So that the government is the government policy for the human trafficking in Thailand. The first is special investigation. The first is the Thailand government created a new unit within the Royal Thailand Police and the Special Investigation Department, which aims to investigate and find out about human trafficking case. The next is collaboration with the United Nations. So the Thailand government collaborates with international organizations such as the United Nations Office on Drugs and Crime or UNODC and the International Organization for Migration or EOM to combat human trafficking and address the problem. The next is making law. So in 2001, the Thai government implemented to the Palermo Protocol to address human trafficking. As a result, the Thailand government passed an anti-trafficking law in 2008, which was amended in 2016 to prohibit all types of human trafficking. So the law strengthens human trafficking laws and ensure justice for victims. So in addition, the government also created the Fisheries Act, which was implemented in 2015. This law was created regulate to fishing industry, improve the fishing industry, and address the problem of illegal fishing. So the last but not least is protection of labor rights. The Thailand government also protects labor rights and human rights in the fishing industry by working with trader groups and non-governmental organizations to encourage ethical behavior and human trafficking that infringes on human rights. Next slide, please.
Okay, for the next one is about international relation theory. Human trafficking in the fishing industry is a serious problem in Thailand, which has a significant impact on human security. So human security in an approach centers on the security of individuals or the soul of the human community, where this concept highlights the dangers of human safety and survival caused by poverty, disease, environmental pressure, human rights violations, and armed conflict. Human trafficking that occur in Thailand can be said to threaten human security because this illegal practice has violated many human rights and even threatened the life of workers who are bought and sold. People who are bought and sold are subject on inhuman working conditions, physical and sexual violations, and other forms of exploitations. Victims are often psychological traumatized, deprived of liberty, and cut off from their families and communities.
Okay, for the next one is the level of analysis. As we mentioned before, that human security that is theory that emphasizes individual safety and welfare. This theory is a state security system that focuses on individual as the main reference to be protected. So the level of analysis that can explain human trafficking case in Thailand is the individual and state level of analysis. This case tells of the inappropriate treatment of individuals working in the fishing industry in Thailand. The action in the question is human trafficking. Human trafficking is in the Thai fishing industry has claimed many victims. They are required in their countries of origin, such as Myanmar, Cambodia, Laos, and other countries of origin. Even 200,000 people are foreign migrants who work on fishing vessel, and hundreds of thousands of other work in processing facility on land. The victims were treated inappropriately, such as being kicked first or work almost 24 hours a day in total isolation from the outside world for years. One of the victims who managed to escape testified that saw 20 people dead in the front of him, one of whom even had his feet and hands tied to bows of 4 boats that were pulling across in the sea. The statement can affect in the victim's psychology due to to trauma from acts of violence. One of human rights is freedom from discrimination, right? So, however, human trafficking violates human rights because it involves the exploitation of individuals through coercion, fraud, or abuse of power for economic or sexual purpose. And the next slide, please. The stage of the level as a level of analysis. As a country that has the responsibility to improve the welfare of its community, the government's role in protecting the right of its citizens or human rights is important. Thailand has a central role in ensuring that police, legislation, law enforcement, and victim protection are priorities in effort to combat human trafficking. As previously mentioned, that the that the Thai government has implemented the police to overcome this problem, such as creating laws that are effective in preventing human trafficking, protecting victims, and punishing perpetrators. The example is first one is the Thailand government has also ratified the Parliament Protocol in 2021 as one of foundation for creating a strong legal framework against human trafficking. The second one in the importance of protecting labor rights in the fishing industry in labor protection laws and so on. And the last one, in addition, Thailand has made several efforts to curb human trafficking, namely legalizing undocumented migrants, increasing the frequency of head checks, and arresting several perpetrators. And the next slide will be explained by Rai.
Okay, so the last one is our conclusion. In our conclusion, human trafficking in the fishing industry is a grave, complex issue that involves the exploitation of vulnerable individuals for forced labor. This modern slavery is often associated with illegal, unreported, and unregulated fishing practice, and it occurs globally, affecting regions such as Southeast Asia, Africa, and parts of Latin America. Key aspects of this problem include deceptive recruitment practice, complicity within the fishing industry, a lack of effective regulation and enforcement, and the global nature of the seafood supply chain. Addressing human trafficking in the fishing industry requires coordinated efforts at various levels. Governments, the fishing industry, NGOs, and consumers all play crucial roles in combating this issue. Strengthening the legal frameworks, increasing enforcement, improving working conditions, and promoting sustainable and ethical practice are essential steps to tackle human trafficking in the fishing sector. Additionally, international collaboration, awareness raising, and the support of traceability and certification programs can contribute to a more comprehensive and effective response to this pervasive problem. Next slide. Okay, so this is our reference. Next slide. Okay, so that's our presentation. Thank you very much.